All right, folks. Speaking as Jerry Van Dalen, excited we are joining a session here. We'll give everybody a couple of minutes to jump on the webinar. We've got folks here kind of joining us through a few different channels. So we'll give everybody a minute and then we'll get kicked off with our webinar here. Let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, wonderful. You guys should be able to see a slide that says create a winning strategy for JD Edwards connected B2B e-commerce, and the names of a few folks on there. All right. So we are 2 minutes after our start time here. And let me just walk through a quick intro and then share an agenda for what our time together is going to look like. And then we'll dive right into our content. If we haven't had the opportunity of meeting, my name is Jerry Van Dalen. I'm the sales director here at SmarterCommerce. We're also joined by a couple of other team members on the SmarterCommerce side, including Fermin Rodriguez, who's our managing director, Diego Fernandez, who's our director of product, and Sergio Nivia as well, who's part of our sales and marketing team. We're excited to have you with us. Thank you for spending an hour of your very busy Wednesday with us. A couple of housekeeping rules before we dive in. Number one, today's webinar is going to be recorded. It'll be distributed to everybody that registered and attended today's webinar. And then we'll also post it on our YouTube channel for anybody that wants to refer to that in the future. Second thing to note is that our webinar today is an open Q&A webinar. What that means is that anybody can use the Zoom window to go to the chat option on there and then ask a question using that platform. You can go ahead and type in a question through there, and then throughout the webinar, Fermin, myself, Diego, or Sergio will be able to provide a response to you. If a response is more complicated, I might bring it up during the webinar and we'll address it that way, or we might reach out to you individually. So in terms of what our agenda looks like, I'm going to be talking briefly about what it means to create a B2B e-commerce strategy that wins in today's day and age, and 5 pillars for that strategy. I'll talk a little bit about who is SmarterCommerce, what's our position in this space, particularly in the space of JD Edwards integrated e-commerce. And then from there, we will dive into a demo of this strategy. And Diego Fernandez, again, our director of product, is going to walk us through a demonstration of a site or a couple of sites that kind of illustrate some of these points. So with that said, I'll go ahead and dive in. I don't think I have to stress the importance of creating an aggressive winning strategy in the space of B2B e-commerce. What we've seen in the marketplace for the last few years, undeniably, is that B2B e-commerce continues to grow, and it's absolutely critical that JD Edwards organizations can keep up with that growth. The hope here is that your organization is not left behind in the B2B space. We see some information out there by Forrester that by 2027, B2B e-commerce is going to be a $3 billion industry, which is an astronomical number. And the question I'm posing to you guys this morning, or rather this afternoon, is, hey, what's your slice of that pie? Or were you left out of the buffet altogether? It's critical that JD Edwards organizations get in on the B2B e-commerce game because guess what? Your competitors are very likely doing so. The question is how to do it effectively. What are the different pillars of a strategy that are going to drive success from a business standpoint? Again, no secret that B2B e-commerce is disrupting traditional channels, and increasingly it is becoming an expectation for your customers, meaning your customers, the B2B buyers that purchase from your organization, are expecting some kind of a digital commerce portal, a web store of some kind. And for your organization, it can actually become a competitive advantage. We're increasingly read that B2B buyers prefer to place routine or repeat orders online. One research that, or rather one source that we looked into, a survey called B2B Buyer Report, which is an organization, or rather a report that inquiries over 500 B2B buyers. These are the folks buying from your organization. And the overwhelming majority of them say that they actually prefer to use digital channels. And so we know that creating a B2B e-commerce strategy is absolutely critical for long-term success for any organization, including B2B JD AdWords organizations. So the question that we're faced with today, and hopefully we can take a stab at answering, is how can JD AdWords organizations adopt a winning B2B e-commerce strategy? What I'm proposing for us today is really 5 strategy pillars. It's not a complete strategy, but certainly keeping these in mind are what's going to help drive a successful strategy. And it's what we as an organization at SmarterCommerce have seen to embody successful customers. Our successful customers become successful because of the hard work of implementing many or some of these strategy pillars. So the first one that I'm just going to point out is giving customers a reason to adopt. Sometimes we overlook the fact that B2B customers or B2B buyers are consumers too. They are people and they need a reason to change their behavior. If they're used to picking up the phone and calling your organization or emailing you an order or emailing you an inquiry or showing up in person to conduct a transaction, they need a compelling reason to convince them that going onto a B2B portal is just a perfect way to do the same action, right? They need a compelling reason to make the switch over to a digital commerce channel. And we can't just assume that they're going to immediately see that benefit, right? Many times when an organization puts out a customer portal, they might think, hey, this thing is so cool. Every customer is going to want to use it because it's really convenient. But a lot of that isn't really immediately obvious to the customer. And so the first way to help customers, or rather the first way to give them a reason to adopt, is just to make sure that customers are aware that you offer a platform. It would be wonderful if we lived in a world where you could send all your customers just one email and they would read the entire email from start to finish and then immediately understand it and change their behavior. But we don't live in that world, right? Even us as consumers, we usually need multiple channels of communication for us to finally understand, hey, wait a minute, there's this new offering. XYZ company has now launched a portal. It has all of these great benefits. These are great reasons to start using the portal. Let me go ahead and create my account or finish creating my account. You have to make sure customers are aware. Email communication, customer service communication, get the whole customer service part of the organization on board with pushing a platform. That's going to be probably your first step. Make sure customers are aware and that they're clearly notified. Additionally, sometimes customers need a monetary reason to begin using a platform. Hey, everybody on this webinar knows that promotions and discounts are really effective. We love to save some money. And so one of the great ways that our customers give their customers a reason to adopt is just by offering a very small discount or offering some kind of a temporary promotional discount to say, hey, if you join the platform for the next 30 days and you place an order, over X amount, we'll go ahead and extend a 1% discount or something of that nature. Another effective tool in the toolbox, if you will. Additionally, sometimes customers think that a digital commerce portal is only about placing orders. Well, guess what? There's actually a lot of really broad benefits to using a customer portal or a B2B e-commerce platform that may extend far beyond simply routine orders. Some of those benefits might be customer can check pricing on their own. They can see order inventory on their own. They can view their order history, invoice history, order status. All of these things might be available on the e-commerce platform, but if the customer isn't aware of those broader benefits, then they're not going to find a compelling reason to join. So highlighting some of those benefits that would really help your customers might be a really important way or really important pathway to giving them a reason to adopt the platform. And then the last one is what I'll just call strong arm benefits, which is really when you tell your customers, hey, you have to start adopting this platform. If not, we're not going to do business with you. Or particularly this is effective for smaller customers, very low margin customers that take up a lot of your time. We have one customer in particular that they said, hey, every customer that purchases below this amount of orders a year, we're actually losing money on those customers because customer service has to dedicate so much time to them. Well, guess what? That customer segment, they said, hey, you have to adopt the digital commerce platform. If not, you can't do business with us because at the end of the day, we're losing money on you. And by transitioning all those customers to the digital commerce platform, those customers now became profitable again. And so obviously, strong arming adoption is kind of at the bottom of your tool belt, but it's certainly available if you're in a situation where customers need to adopt it. Otherwise, there's some return on investment type issues. And so you can have the world's greatest B2B e-commerce platform, but if customers are not adopting the platform, they're not using the platform, you're going to run into issues, right? And so it's critical that if you want to drive a successful e-commerce strategy, that you build a series of compelling reasons for your customers to begin adopting the platform. So that's pillar number one. Pillar number two is just what I'm going to call the importance of web design. Now, let's be honest, web design is a bit of an Achilles heel for B2B organizations, right? Why? Because we prioritize efficiency, we prioritize functionality, and how something looks really isn't high on the list. And hey, fair enough, I understand. However, if you start looking at the numbers and if you start looking at what your customers value and expect out of a platform, you'll know that web design is one of those things that is actually important and that it does matter. Some quick stats on that. Amex did a quick survey and realized that, hey, over 2/3 of B2B buyers actually move from one vendor to another vendor because their purchasing experience or their online experience is more consumer-like. Now, what do we mean by consumer-like? It means that a B2B e-commerce platform doesn't look like a portal that was built in 1995. It's a lot more similar to the Apple.com, the Amazon.com like experience that consumers use on a day-to-day basis. So the better that your web design is, the more aligned it is with industry norms for the layout, the look, the feel, the colors, the design, the user experience in general, the more likely B2B buyers are to adopt it, to begin using it, and to enjoy using it. And in some cases, according to this survey, that's a reason why they move from one platform to another or from one vendor to another. The second is that a good web design actually reduces the cost to serve that customer. Now, this might not be super intuitive, but realize that if you've got a platform that's clunky and difficult to use and not intuitive and not designed well, guess what? When the customer runs into a snag, they're going to pick up the phone and they're going to call somebody. And at that point, the profitability of that transaction has really gone down for your organization. Why? Because interacting with a live agent, somebody from customer service, is comparatively a very expensive interaction when you compare it to a digital commerce transaction, right? Forrester did some research and they found that a live agent interaction could cost anywhere between $6 to $12 between the cost of the technology, the cost of the agent themselves, and so on. While a self-service option on a digital commerce platform can cost as low as 25 cents. And that's a huge difference, right? Which reduces the cost of that interaction by 75%, which really is astounding. A customer is going to pick up the phone and make a phone call if their use of the platform, right? If the platform isn't designed well, they're not going to find it intuitive to use the platform, and that's going to create challenges for them. And then the last reason why web design is really important is because it builds the credibility of your business. Look, whether you like to admit it or not, good design on an e-commerce platform establishes trust between you and your customer. And everybody knows this. When you get to a website, right, you have an initial impression of that company, of that brand, how seriously they take their online presence. And if you're putting an e-commerce platform out there that doesn't look great, looks old, difficult to use, not intuitive, doesn't represent your brand well, ultimately your credibility as an organization also suffers. Whether you like it or not, 75% of users decide or help decide a company's credibility based on their web design. So in the world of B2B, it's understood that we're going to prioritize functionality, we're going to prioritize capabilities that we're delivering to the customer, efficiency, all that makes sense, but we can't underestimate the importance of web design. It certainly doesn't deserve a backseat position. Number three, the third pillar is what I'll just call provide reliable information. One of the big distinctions between B2C and B2B customers is the amount of information requirements that they have and the demand for quality information that B2B customers have over a B2C customer, okay? If you're a consumer, everybody on this webinar is a consumer. You go on Amazon, you read 2 reviews, you see 3 bullet points, and you're basically ready to buy a product. It's not the case in the B2B world. In the B2B world, you want to make sure that your pricing lines up with what you've negotiated, that the terms that you have for that purchase are agreed, that there's enough inventory to fulfill your order at the nearest warehouse, that the actual technical details of the product are accurate, and the list goes on. There's a very high demand for information accuracy and information quality at the B2B level. This is because B2B customers expect a much more personalized experience when they are shopping online. So what this means is that if you want to drive a successful e-commerce strategy, you have to provide reliable information. There's a survey that went out, again, part of the B2B buyer survey, and asked 500 B2B buyers and said, hey, which personalized information do you need from your supplier when you're ordering online? And on the top of the list are critical pieces of information that you have to get right in order for that B2B customer to really adopt the platform, begin using it, and build trust with it. The pricing has to be on par with what you've negotiated with that customer. The payment rules or payment terms, the assortment or product selection that they have available over the phone or in person needs to also be represented online. What they're looking for is a personalized experience that is trustworthy and specific to them as a customer. And that's going to be critical for building customer trust, right? Not just customer trust, but also trust in the actual platform. Very often, organizations will launch a B2B e-commerce platform where there really isn't an integration or connection or trustworthiness with the business data and the content that's online. And very quickly, a B2B customer realizes, hey, wait a minute, the pricing on this e-commerce platform is not the same pricing that I get when I call Cheryl from the customer service department at the organization. So guess what? If I'm getting better pricing by calling somebody in the organization, that's what I'm going to do every single time. The e-commerce platform that you select must be able to present that personalized and accurate information for that B2B customer. So that's the third pillar. The fourth pillar is what I'm going to call realizing that B2B e-commerce is more than just commerce. Now, let me explain what I mean by that. Sometimes B2B organizations can think that the most important thing for an e-commerce platform to do is to facilitate the ordering for a customer, facilitate self-service ordering, if you will. But in reality, an e-commerce platform can actually help your customers in a lot of simple ways beyond the simple process of ordering. In fact, what we've come to realize, and that what many of our customers have come to realize, is that the most valuable functionality on a B2B e-commerce site is sometimes not actually related to placing an order, but instead to checking the price of an item. Instead, it's checking the inventory of an item, providing order status, providing an easy way to pay an invoice or to download an invoice. And by providing a lot of these functionalities that are not just about commerce on your e-commerce platform, you can drive so many more benefits. A few examples of these functionality or benefits on an e-commerce platform that are more than just commerce. A couple of examples would relate to educational content. A B2B customer performs a very extensive amount of research before they make a purchasing decision. And by providing lots of high quality, sometimes technical educational content on your B2B platform, you can help that customer educate themselves and build their trust in order to make a purchasing decision. Additionally, providing invoice payment online can be really, really beneficial. A customer logs in. Maybe they're not interested in purchasing things, but they can view their invoices and then make a payment against those invoices. That still drives a very real benefit for your organization because it saves that customer calling your account receivable department and paying that same invoice, or your account receivable department trying to get a hold of that customer and have them pay that receivable. Instead, a customer can just log in, view the receivables, make a payment, right? Again, none of these two options here and the few more examples that I'm going to provide, they don't relate to e-commerce ordering or sales ordering online. However, there are a lot of other functionality that can drive benefits beyond e-commerce strictly. Another example is credit utilization information or account summary information online. If a customer is thinking, hey, I want to place this big order next week, I don't know if I have enough available credit. Well, guess what? On an e-commerce platform, that information can be summarized for them. And they can log in, view that information, see the age of their receivables, decide whether or not they have to make a payment or think to themselves, hey, I do have enough credit for this order that I want to place next week. Everything is great. Again, it saves that customer picking up the phone and calling your account receivable department or your credit department. All of this is taken care of online in a self-service fashion. Account management type functionality. If a customer wants to create a new employee on the platform, maybe they want to add a credit card, remove a credit card, change the permission, add a bill to address, or rather a ship to address. The list goes on. There's a lot of administrative type functionalities that customers typically have to pick up the phone and call your organization. Instead of doing it that way, what they can do is just kind of self-manage their own account through a digital commerce portal. And then the last but not least, I think I've already mentioned, relates to information lookup. There's a lot of information on a B2B e-commerce platform. We've talked about some of it, pricing, inventory, ship tos, things of that nature. All of that's available online. And a customer can answer so many of their questions by going online, logging in, and again, self-serving themselves at 2 a.m., at 7 p.m., off hours, for example. They can answer their own questions. If you're trying to build a winning e-commerce strategy, it's absolutely critical that you realize that B2B e-commerce is about much more than just facilitating a self-service ordering process. There's a lot of auxiliary benefits that can drive huge benefits for your customers and huge savings for your organization. And then the last pillar that I'll mention for creating a successful e-commerce strategy is what I'm going to call keep the experience consistent across all channels. So I'll give you a quick anecdote for what not to look like. And in this example, I've kind of got a graph here. You've got a customer who's interacting with an organization, except every time that they interact with a different channel for that organization, they're receiving a different experience. And very quickly, what this customer will realize is that if they want XYZ done, they'll reach out to one channel. If they want to do ABC, they'll reach out to another channel. This third channel here never really works, so they're not going to use it at all. And this fourth channel, they may not even know about, right? They've got this segmented experience of an organization that they experience something different every time they reach out through a different channel, okay? By way of relation, here's an anecdote, right? The other day, my car battery was expired. It didn't work anymore, and I was in a parking lot. And I have AAA, and so I figured I'd just call AAA. They'll give me a jump. My wife's at home. I don't want to bother her. So I pull up my phone, and I pull up the AAA app, and then I log a case, right? Or I place a claim. It said, great, someone told me. The little map pops up and says, great, someone will be there in 20 minutes. 20 minutes later, no progress. So I check back on my app. It says now somebody's 45 minutes away. And I'm confused. I'm like, what's going on? It sounds like no one's really assigned to my case. They said it was 20 minutes. Now it's 45 minutes. What's stopping it from becoming 90 minutes? And so what I did is I picked up the phone and I called AAA directly. And they told me that there was some kind of a glitch on the back end and that they'll fix it. And now someone's 15 minutes away. Well, guess what? I interacted with that organization at 2 different channels, and I had a really different experience on each one of those channels. Guess what? Next time I have an issue, I'm not even going to pick up the app. I'm going to abandon that, and I'm just going to place a phone call directly. Now, that's a failure of keeping the experience consistent across multiple channels. AAA, in this case, failed at that. If you want to have a successful e-commerce strategy, you have to make sure that whatever channel your customer's interacting with you through, that they're going to have the same exact experience, okay? Now, what do I mean by that? It means that when the customer picks up the phone, or if they log in online on their B2B e-commerce portal, or they're walking in to a branch in person, they're going to be receiving the same payment information, the self-service capabilities, the same information, and the same kind of response time on each one of those channels. A customer sees the same pricing information, whether they're making a phone call, walking into a branch, at a trade show, meeting with one of your team members, talking with a salesperson in person, or logging into their e-commerce platform. The minute that e-commerce experience on that channel is different than any of the other channels that they have, guess what? Not only has the credibility of that platform diminished, but now the customer has to make the decision of what channel to interact with you through in order for them to get accomplish what they're looking to accomplish. And that creates a very disjointed experience for your customer. So, in summary, if you're looking to succeed in the world of B2B e-commerce, you have to make sure that all of the different facets of that customer experience are represented equally on the e-commerce platform as with any other platform. So, these are the five pillars that I've kind of presented for you today. In just a couple of minutes, we're going to see some of these demonstrated through an actual walkthrough of a demo e-commerce platform that SmarterCommerce has set up. Before I dive into that, I want to uh, talk very briefly on who SmarterCommerce is. Maybe you're familiar with the organization, and maybe you're not. So let me spend 5 minutes and just kind of summarize who we are and what we do. So SmarterCommerce has actually been in the JD AdWords space for over 30 years. We've implemented JD AdWords hundreds of times all across the globe. And what we came to realize in the early 2000s, we did that for about 10 years. In the early 2000s, we began to realize that IT leaders, business leaders were trying to launch successful e-commerce projects, but they kept running into the same challenges every time. And that was that all the e-commerce platforms out there, big names, Salesforce Commerce, Oracle Commerce, SAP, Adobe, you name it, great platforms, but guess what? None of them talk to JD Edwards. None of them connect with JD Edwards out of the box, which creates all kinds of customer experience challenges when you're trying to launch a successful e-commerce strategy. Quick snapshot of some of our customers. All of these organizations are JD Edwards organizations. That's the only ERP that we work with and integrate with out of the box. I know that we've got some customers on the webinar today, so thank you for your partnership. Glad to see you guys with us. We can't fit all the logos on the slide. So if we're looking for a basic definition of what is SmarterCommerce, we like to define it as a family of solutions that integrate or that help companies unite their payment, e-commerce, and retail systems into one simple system that connects with JD Edwards. We have five main product pillars: a payment processing solution, a retail solution, e-commerce solution, which is a complete B2B e-commerce platform, which of course is the subject of today's discussion, call center management solution, and then a connector to the Avalara AvaTax sales tax compliance platform. The key here is that all of our products integrate with JD Edwards out of the box. Zero integration needed, literally plug and play, and all of our solutions are Oracle validated. What this means is that for 20 years now, we've been partnering with JD Edwards organizations that are saying, hey, I want to launch a B2B platform. And I look out in the marketplace and there's these really big, really expensive e-commerce platforms that don't even talk to JD Edwards. We need a better way. And we've been helping customers find that better way for over 20 years. Now, you may have detected in my description here that for us, what we have come to realize over the last 20 years is that if you want to launch a successful e-commerce project, ERP connection, that is integration to JD Edwards, is absolutely critical. One of the common denominators for the five pillars that I expressed earlier is that one of the absolute keys to delivering an outstanding customer experience is to what I call have one source of the truth. Now, when I say one source of the truth, I'm talking about one source of the truth when it comes to customer information, inventory information, pricing, ordering history, ordering process, payments, reporting, and the list goes on. Okay. If you've got a different set of data and processes in these spaces for your e-commerce channel versus your JD Edwards, guess what? Now you have two versions of the truth, and the customer's going to have a conflicting experience depending on what platform they use. So what SmarterCommerce does is that out of the box, we leverage JD Edwards connection as the single source of truth for your business process and your business data. JD Edwards is where we start, but of course, that's not where we finish. We also realize that e-commerce requirements, they need data, they need content that JD Edwards doesn't really have, right? And so through SmarterCommerce e-commerce, we also have a platform that manages all of that enriched content at the e-commerce level. Some examples of this are product images, long product descriptions, documents, and the list goes on, right? All of that necessary content for e-commerce is then managed at the SmarterCommerce level, referencing JD Edwards as a single source of truth for all of the more critical data points. Now, why is this so important? There's two main benefits that our customers have when we take this approach. Number one, it really limits the IT complexity for digital commerce operations, okay? We hear it all the time when a customer selects a JD Edwards organization, selects one of these big name organizations, big name e-commerce platform, invests thousands and thousands of dollars into this platform, but they can't get the platform to work because it doesn't integrate with JD Edwards. And so now the IT team, the IT leaders have to figure out a way to integrate this enterprise e-commerce platform with JD Edwards, which is not an easy task. And it really results in a lot of cost, in delays for the project, and ultimately in a lot of complexity that needs to be managed on an ongoing basis. The much easier way to go is to use an out-of-the-box integration like what SmarterCommerce provides. Zero development, zero work to get that integrated. It's literally integrated as soon as the platform is installed. And the second great benefit that we see is that the freedom from the complexity of integrating to JD Edwards then allows the business users or the business folks to take control. And instead of focusing on the limitations of their integration, they can then focus on growing the platform and on growing the customer experience or improving the customer experience. Huge benefits and a real game changer for a lot of JD Edwards organizations. Now, for SmarterCommerce, just as a quick overview for our platform before we dive into a demo, of course, we've talked about our pre-integration with JD Edwards Enterprise One. I got to be clear here, guys. When I say pre-integration, that's literally what we mean. There is zero development involved with integrating SmarterCommerce with JD Edwards Enterprise One. We integrate directly at the business function level using XML interoperability to make sure that we leverage JD Edwards as much as possible. In addition to this, obviously, we provide an extensive set of B2B e-commerce capabilities, customer-specific pricing coming from JD Edwards Advanced Pricing. If you want to display certain catalogs to certain customers, we support that as well. We integrate with the quote management, enterprise search. We are multi-company, currency, country enabled, a lot of flexibility and capabilities that we deliver. And the last thing I'll highlight here is that even though SmarterCommerce is an enterprise level B2B e-commerce platform used by billion-dollar organizations, it doesn't mean that it feels clunky and it feels like it was built in the 90s. It's a very modern platform and it features a lot of those B2C intuitive characteristics that make it really easy for your customers to see it and intuitively know how to use it because of the layout, because of the familiarity of the user experience. So with that said, I'm going to transition over to the demo portion of our agenda. I'm going to give Diego a couple of minutes here to kind of get set up. I'll stop sharing my screen as he shares his screen. Let me just make sure that he has the ability to do that. I'm going to go ahead and make him a co-host. If you've got any questions, folks, please go ahead and type it into the webinar chat. More than happy to interact with the audience. And if you do operate or you're working at a JD Edwards organization that is considering launching B2B e-commerce, reach out to us. Let us know the different challenges that you have, what your requirements are. We'd be more than happy to welcome a discussion. And so with that said, Diego, you've shared your screen. Diego's going to walk us through a few different scenarios, some of which are going to illustrate the pillars that we've just chatted through here on the slide deck portion of the agenda. With that said, Diego, again, I'm looking at your screen and we're ready to get going.
Thank you, Jerry, and welcome everyone. As Jerry mentioned, I've shared my desktop here just to highlight some of the capabilities. Obviously, because of time, we won't be able to get into all of the details, but I wanted to share some of the capabilities and how we go about introducing or integrating our solution into your environment. So beginning, as Jerry mentioned, we have a demonstration company here that is integrated into the backend JD Edwards ERP solution. Our demonstration company is called SmarterTech, and it sells all types of tooling equipment, welding equipment, and so on. It has multiple integrated catalogs that I have here set up, one by product grouping from power tools to woodworking to metal fabrication and tires and so on, others by brands that we carry, and you can have as many catalogs as you desire, including personalized catalogs or customer-specific catalogs if you want to create them for those customers. As with any enterprise level website, you need a fully integrated search engine that allows your customers to really find your products easily and quickly by just typing in a few keywords. To see some of these capabilities, let's go out and see some of our customer websites. These are production websites that are integrated real time into their JD Edwards, where information is coming from JD Edwards and enriched by the digital experience platform that we work with here, integrating the two and presenting an intuitive, easy to use platform to the user community so that when they come here, to a customer of ours, Legend Valves, where some of their plumbers or contractors are coming to look up maybe a particular product that they need for a job, like a PERT tube of 500 feet. They can just type in various keywords and it starts giving them possible product suggestions or just overall search suggestions quickly and easily, so that with one click, they're there and they're seeing the product so that they can find the product that they're looking for and drill in to see more details of that product, maybe see images, see specifications, dimensions, or maybe just coming here to download a specification sheet so that they can give it, to the homeowner or the construction project manager so that they know exactly what is needed. So as you can see, with just a few clicks, they're able to type in those keywords with our integrated enterprise search engine, find the product and drill in and download or whatever they need, or just read about that product in general. So if you get a chance, go out and visit this customer. It's under mylegendvalve.com. You can see what they've done, oriented to their customers within the plumbing and contractor business. Another company that we highlight a lot is Lindy Gas and Equipment. They sell over 70,000 SKUs through the website. Again, just like with Legend Valve, fully integrated search engine where a customer going to start keying in keywords and it starts giving them their search suggestions. You may see how it looks and feels different. Every customer can present themselves how they desire, their branding, their look and feel. But the functionality is there to help your customers really retrieve and find what they need. Here we get back a listing of products. Over on the left is a listing of what are called attribute filters that allow you to further filter down your products when you get many, many results and you're trying to find a specific set of products to meet what your needs are. Or maybe you're not looking for products, but just some general content information that you want to read about. Or maybe you need to download some documents. Again, all of these capabilities integrated into an enterprise system to allow your customers to understand what it is you do, find information about your products, and then obviously get whatever information they need in their hands quickly. So this is another example of a customer you may want to visit and see what they've done. It's lindydirect.com. And then a third example that I'm going to throw out there is IDEX Health and Science. IDEX Health and Science, it's really spent a lot of time around educating their customers and providing a wealth of information around all of their capabilities and products and services that they offer to the health and laboratories and science industries. So here, for example, if you're looking for a particular product or you want to find out about it, maybe you don't understand, what optical filters or the optical filters that they provide, what can they do? Well, here they have things like, introduction to optical filters, and be able to read about those products, find out what they're looking for. Maybe now that you know a little bit more, you can dive in and learn more specifics as to how to use this product and click and get, more general information. And if you're ready to buy, you can just click on Shop Now and it drives you right into that grouping of products. So again, going from educating your customers, your new customers or existing customers about your product lines, driving them right into the actual products that meet what they're looking for. So education, as Jerry mentioned, a big part of a B2B solution, not just the capabilities of ordering, which obviously should have the personalization of pricing, but the enriched content really to help your users find what they're looking for and be able to quickly and easily purchase that product or group of products and put it into your JD Edwards. So there's one consistent look and feel, one consistent set of business rules, and what they see on the front end on your website is the same experience as if they're calling your call center or reaching out to you at a specific physical location. So let's look at some of the feature functionality now. As I mentioned, those are 3 examples. There's many others. If you want to, reach out to us, we can give you, several other customers and what they've done. It's important to understand, as Jerry mentioned, our solution is pre-integrated into your JD Edwards, meaning you don't need to worry about any of that. All of the information that's coming to the front end website, the information that's presented to your user that's logged in, is real-time information coming from JD Edwards. The same pricing that they would get within your JD Edwards by calling, and you're placing an order through the sales order entry, is the same pricing they're going to get here on the front end. Let's see some examples of that. As I mentioned earlier, here this is Smarter Tech, a fictitious company that sells all types of equipment. This is how we branded it, so that you can see, sort of a B2B. It's more than just a ordering and buying platform, which is one of the main reasons you're coming to a website, but it's also, an education platform, that you can store all types of educational materials or frequently asked questions or industry resources to help your customers find what they're looking for without having to pick up the phone or bother a salesperson or call your call center for that information. As I mentioned earlier, you want a simple to easy use navigating catalog that customers can easily find product groupings and drill into those product groupings and see the listings. You want to be able to provide what are called attribute filters to filter down products to their specific needs. And then from there, be able to see whatever pricing it is that product is sold for. Here, I'm not logged in. Our solution, depending on how you configure it and set it up, can allow for guest shopping and seeing of pricing for a guest user, even being able to place orders as guest users. But as soon as I sign in and I represent myself as a user that has a relationship, in this case with Smarter Tech, let me just log in here. Immediately that I do that, now it starts personalizing the information to me and my organization. So I am df@capital.com. That's my user login. I represent a company called Capital Tool Supplies. And then immediately I start seeing information about my organization. I can see historical orders, recent orders that are opened or closed, coming directly from JD Edwards. These are not just website orders. These are all orders. If I did an EDI order, or if I called in an order and I want to see the status of that order, I can come here and drill into the details of that order to find out information regarding that order, what its status is, has it shipped yet? This is an order that I was placed earlier today. See my order number, my PO number, where it's being shipped, how it's being shipped, and all of the additional information that may be related to my order and what the status of each line is on that order. So as you can see, the solution or the capabilities that a B2B user wants is not just to be able to place orders, which is obviously critical, but it's also to be able to find out historical information about orders, about invoices, about pricing, so that they can make an educated decision on what they need to do without having to call in and be able to self-service those capabilities automatically. If we return back to that product we saw earlier within the cordless tools, we'll see here that now this product, which earlier was $229.50, is now been personalized to me. This is what I pay for this product. If I drill in to that product, I can see that I get a discount some advanced pricing rules have kicked in automatically within JD Edwards, and it's providing me some discounts. Not only is it for the discounting a quantity of one, but if you sell products in volume discounts and provide volume discounts, we can list the volume discounts to the user by interrogating the pricing engine of JD Edwards and being able to present that so a user knows that if they buy two or more, they'll pay $220 and save a little more. Or if they buy three or more, they'll pay $215. Those are the type of things that users want to know, or maybe they want to buy in different units of measure and you want to represent, a case versus an each. Well, how many are in a case? Well, again, a case is a quantity of four. So if I go to buy a case, it automatically reprices the information to a case, and it provides feedback on that based on what JD Edwards is responding. And then, well, maybe I just want to find out about this product. I want to see images about it to make sure that that's what I need. I want to zoom into that image and see details on that product, or I want to see a video specifically oriented to that product on how to use it or how to install it, or I just want specifications and features about that product, or how is it delivered, or just detailed specifications so that I can again educate to make sure that I answer that, or I just need to download some manuals and guides related to that product. All of that at my fingertips so that I can self-service myself and be able to complete and meet the requirement that I have at hand. But as I mentioned earlier, search is number one. When most customers come to you, they start typing in, keywords as to what they're looking for. They're drilling into those search suggestions, or they're drilling directly into a product. And then once they get to that product, they want to see a listing of those products and pricing, or maybe they need some information or some other documents to download related to that group of products. So other capabilities that you want to offer to your customers so that they can, again, self-service themselves. But as Jerry mentioned, it's not just about finding product and buying it, but also being able to do things like order history and view status of orders across the board for as far back as you want to allow them to go, or maybe you want to allow them to add in some search criterias, or maybe they want to see orders that were shipped to a particular location and filter down to that specific location and what was bought at that location, and then be able to drill into the details of that specific order so they can see information on that product or order that they bought. So those are the details that a customer wants, being able to really go into it, see details, see order details, see product information, all the capabilities that a customer would need to be able to self-service themselves, not only from a purchasing aspect, but also from a historical aspect. Order history, returns history, if you want to allow them to view returns or to start an RMA process right from the website. Or maybe they have, you use JD Edwards quote capabilities. We again integrate with that at this level to be able to present quotes and create new quotes and even convert those quotes into sales orders right through the website. Or they just want to self-service themselves as to information related to their organization. Maybe they want to add a new ship to or edit information related to a ship to, updating your address book or customer master information. Again, these capabilities, though, is based on your business rules. You can set up roles and permissions to allow or hide or disable capabilities to different users so that you can control what they're able to do on the website, what they can update, and how they can go through and complete the task at hand. But here they can maybe add a new ship to if you allow them to, edit a ship to if you allow them to, or maybe they want to add a new contact for their organization that gets written into your who's who in your JD Edwards address book, and allow others in their organization to be able to sign in on their behalf and place orders, maybe other buyers of that organization. and assign them different capabilities. And these capabilities that you assign, these roles and capabilities, are based on an administrator management. So if you allow your customers even to self-service themselves and have an administrator to the account, you can even allow them to self-service the roles and permissions. That's how powerful the solution is, so that customers really can add on new users that represent their organization, and they can even self-service what capabilities they want that user to have, so that they can't do something that they're not supposed to. But as Jerry mentioned, the main thing customers come to do is to buy. And as you can see, there's many ways to buy within our solution. You can go to order history and repeat an order, or buy it, or add an order right from the order history tabs, or maybe they can go to the catalog and find the products that they need and filter down and add to cart what they need, or they can search. But another way that many B2B customers utilize is our quick order capabilities. Quick orders allow your B2B customers, especially those that buy in large volumes, many lines on an order, to either type in the items that they want right here, or to directly import that item into the e-commerce solution and place that order into Edwards. So here, for example, I can import either a CSV Excel file, or if they have generated a purchase order PDF out of their ERP system, they can go in and place that order immediately. But we take it even a step further. What does that mean is, right through the e-commerce solution, we let our customers set up their own cross-reference of products. JD Edwards has a capability that allows you to set up your item numbers as part of a cross-reference file to the company's item numbers. So what does that mean is, well, within my ERP system, this product that is bought from SmarterTech this is how I know it in my ERP system, and so on and so forth. And I can go in and upload all of my cross-reference products. I can add in new ones. I can upload files of all of, I can download the catalog of products and then upload all of these cross-references that get stored within Edwards, so that you can use them not only within your call center order entry or EDI, but also right from here. The user could come here and import their order, select their PO PDF right on their from their computer, copy it in and say, my PDF is based on my item numbers that are set up within the cross-reference, and then click import, and it's going to take the PDF, run it through our AI solution, and convert that PDF into an order that they can then validate and process right into your JD Edwards. So here they took their PDF with the quantities, their PO unit prices that they had on their PDF. We validate that when they click checkout. We verify all of their pricing and compare it to the negotiated pricing within your JD Edwards, and let them know if there's any differences between their PO PDF and what our system says. They can validate those price differences and see, oh, a typo on my side, may be incorrect. I can continue the process, or I can go back and fix it. However, whatever they want to do. But in the end, they are able to validate that everything matches up. And if everything is good, they can see where it's being shipped to. They can see the requested date of the PDF. They can see the PO number got imported in. They can see all of their order totals, including any tax, if the customer is a taxable customer, following standard JD Edwards taxing rules. And if there's any freight that needs to be calculated, they can then start their checkout process. It runs them through a series of terms and conditions acceptance. If they, once they accept that, then they can move to the next step, which allows them to then pay for that product. So I put my order in, I converted that PO into an order, running it through the AI. I have it ready. I then click because I have terms and credit limit with the customer, and I can go ahead and place that order into AdWords. So just a few clicks. As you can see, I generated my PO out of my ERP system, logged in, uploaded that PO, it converted it to an order, and I placed that order right into JD Edwards. If I go back now and I see here my order number, this is my order confirmation, my order number 9116. If I quickly move over to JD Edwards here, this is the JD Edwards environment that the front end website is integrated to. Here is my JD Edwards. And if I look up historical orders here and look up my order, there is my order ready to go. I mean, as quickly as that, I've imported my order from my PO PDF using the AI tools. It imported it in, and it will look and feel like any other order in JD Edwards. It's ready to be picked, packed, and shipped. It followed all the same business rules. It came in at the right order activity statuses. It uploaded information about the PO number. It attached the PO itself. It has all of the information that is relevant, just like if I would have keyed in that order, including some order level discounts that kicked in, some pricing discounts, some line level discounts that got applied along with all the quantities and so on, just like if I would have typed that order in by hand by calling that call center. That's the integration that we offer, and those are the capabilities that you can extend to your customers while showing them a simple to use, user intuitive front end website that a typical user can use without really any training, and having all of these different capabilities available to them, from knowledge information about your products and services and so on, to historical information, to being able to look up orders and returns and quotes and so on, to even pricing and paying for invoices. Maybe I have some open AR that I need to clear. Well, I can go through, find those open invoices that I may have, and then pay those open invoices. Obviously being demo, there's a lot of open invoices here in demonstration mode, but basically I can go through, select whatever open invoices I want, one or many of those, and walk through a payment process, and then pay that with either an alternative payment, if you allow things like PayPal or Apple Pay or Google Pay, or credit card payment, or even an ACH wire transfer. And they can go ahead and enter in their bank information, and then we process an ACH wire transfer against their bank in order to make payment on those open AR invoices. That's the flexibility that we offer with the solution, integrated real time, so that your customer is seeing up-to-date real-time information. The information is not replicated or pulled into another silo system or set of tables. No, it's reading the same information that your call center user would read if they go through a JD Edwards application. That's the level of integration that we offer, while having a flexible, easy to use front end capability so that your users can interact with that. I know we're up against time. Obviously, I've just done a quick highlight of some of the capabilities, but if there's more interest, we can definitely dive in much deeper so that you have a clear understanding of all of the capabilities and how this all comes together, in a follow-up session. Thanks again, and I'm going to turn over the presentation back to Jerry for final comments. Thank you.
Excellent, Diego. Thank you for that walkthrough. I'll share my screen here in just a minute, but basically the only thing we've got in front of us, folks, is a quick review of any questions that the audience may have. I know we've been chatting with some of the attendees here for the last few minutes. That being said, if there's any questions that you had that were not answered, more than happy to take care of that here for the last few minutes. We've had some of the audience ask if this session is going to be recorded. The answer is yes, this session is being recorded. That'll be processed and distributed to everybody that registered and attended the webinar. Probably it'll be sent out later today so that you can review it And of course, if you have any questions, please reach out, folks. I've seen a couple of questions here asking about, if there's internal staff that uses this tool, maybe for their sales force or their customer service reps, as opposed to JD AdWords. The answer is yes. We do have a user type that we call a salesperson user that basically can act on behalf of a customer and complete customer service requests, whether it's invoice payment or ordering on behalf of a customer, all while using this platform instead of JD Edwards. And so that's certainly a possibility. So anyways, looking forward to engaging with the rest of the folks. If you do have an ongoing e-commerce requirement, or you're thinking about e-commerce over the next few months, or maybe you have an existing e-commerce platform that's doing a decent job, but unfortunately does not provide the kind of trustworthiness and reliability that a JD Edwards integrated platform provides, please reach out. You'll be hearing from us as a follow-up to this webinar. We appreciate everybody's time. Thank you, and we look forward to connecting. Thank you, folks. Bye-bye.